Hi everyone, I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel for everybody who is new, and welcome back subscribers. Today we are doing another unboxing of the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is by Deborah Blake. The art is by Elizabeth Alba, and I've been wanting this deck for a while, so let's just get into it. Deborah Blake describes this deck as a fun, practical, easy to use tarot kit for every witch. The images always depict a witch and always have a cat. So this is actually the reason why I decided to finally get this deck. As of recording today, the deck is actually on sale for $28 give or take on Amazon, which is really good. It's usually $32, so you get a few bucks off. I will make sure to have the link to this in the description box. So let's get into the box. This is a really big box. Look at it. And some people like that, some people don't, but you know, you'll have to let me know what kind of boxes you like. We can see here on the side, it just has a really nice spine, which makes storing it really good, because I've had some decks where like there's only designs on the side, there's no name, so depending how you store it, you may or may not know what deck it is. Also, this is a swing top box, so with a little magnet. So this is really great, nice sturdy box, and you can see here information about publication, more of the name on the sides, and then the back has a description of the deck, looks at some of the cards, and gives you an idea of what the guidebook looks like. And it explains that in this box set, it includes the 78 tarot cards and a 264-page full-colored guidebook. So let's open this baby up. The pattern extends into the box. There's a nice little string to get everything out. And look at this book. Let me see if I can get it out. Look at that. We'll have to get into that in a second. We're going to keep looking at the box. You can see here little finger holes to get the deck out, which is fully wrapped. And then the box. So this is actually a really nice box. Obviously it's quite large, perhaps not the most travel friendly, but it is great for storage if you have the room for such a large box. All right, here we have the guidebook. This is a book. Like, they were not kidding. This is really nice. It's reminiscent of my Wild Unknown book. I think the Wild Unknown is maybe a little smaller, but it gives you the feel of perusing through a real book. So we see the designs from the inside of the box. We see another image of a witch and her cat, and then just the author and the artist. I almost don't want to crack the spine, but I'm going to do it for you guys, for YouTube. Okay, so we go into it. We see more examples of the cards. The pages are a little thin, that worries me, but they smell really good. Are there any other book sniffers out there? Because this book smells really good. I'm gonna move this out of the way. So I just kind of think this is really cool to go through and you kind of see some of the cards. It's like a prequel to everything. So there's full pages dedicated to the author and to the artist, which is lovely. I don't think artists get such a full front page call out, which I feel like they deserve more of. All right, so this is obviously a sign that we're getting into the actual meat and potatoes of this book. There's a table of contents, which I love. I love when books that are laid out with a lot of detail have table of contents. Chapter 1 is about the book, how to do readings, so this is great for new witches. Chapter 2 is common questions and answers and some tarot extras. So we'll have to dive in and see what those extras are. Chapter 3 is all about the cards, majors and then minors, and then chapter 4 is the conclusion. So let's peruse a little. We have the introduction. This is just about her foray into creating this tarot deck. It is quite large, but some people enjoy that. chapter 1. This is more of a description of how the cards are based off of, just explaining that it's based off of Rider-Waite, and then a little history on tarot. It explains major arcana, minor arcana, the different suits, swords, cups, wands, and pentacles, and just gives you an overview. This is a really great quick overview for new witches, or if you've taken a break and want to get back into it. It has everything you kind of need in here. So she explains a little bit more about the deck and how to use it, and explains that even though it's based off of Rider-Waite, it does not mimic Rider-Waite exactly, like to a T. So just understanding the images and how to go about interpreting them, and it's just really great information. And then if you've never done a reading before, it explains how to do a reading. So like here it says, go through the entire deck one card at a time, look at them and get a sense for what they mean. So she has a lot of great tips for the majors, the minors, using combinations of cards, goes into notes about doing readings, and it's laid out with a lot of different steps here. So before we move on, one of the things I want to point out is how rare it is to find books that talk about the numerology of cards. And here she lays out the numerology from aces through tens. And I love that. I love that so much, because I think numerology is so underrated, oftentimes forgotten when people do readings. But I can go on for days, and I won't. So moving on to chapter 2. We have common questions and answers. So it explains what signifiers are, what clarifications are, what reversals are, and whether you should use them or not. And it says here, a common question before doing a reading: do I need to cast a magical circle or only read in a sacred space? And I love that she just straight up says not at all, and just explains that while many people do this, you don't have to. And I just think she has a really great perspective on things, and she's trying to clear up a lot of misconceptions. So here it says, do I have to be a psychic to read tarot? And then she just casually says, nope. Now we're into the extras. We know this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, so it only makes sense that she adds in some spells to use with tarot. Tarot is not inherently witchcraft, but a lot of witches use tarot in their practice. So I think being able to provide your users with some little spells to start off with is such a great idea. Here's a spell for a good reading. A cleansing spell for used cards. A lot of people buy used tarot decks. In fact, my Ethereal Visions deck, which will be going up shortly, is actually used. So this is really cool. Cool ideas on how to incorporate magic into your tarot. So chapter 3, again, is about the cards. We're starting right into the thick of things, getting straight into the major arcana, starting off with the Fool, and it's a description of the card. And then we go in here, things to consider. Again, if you've seen my videos, you know that I'm not into flowery, like really descriptive, novel-esque descriptions of the cards. I prefer keywords in that sense. So while I like the book, that's not my preference of style. I know this is a personal thing, so if you like that, comment below, let me know. Just because I'm curious. I know people like all different styles of guidebooks. But what I will say is I do like this short little usurp here that is just short, sweet, and to the point. And it's good enough to jog your memory if you're having trouble remembering. And she added a little notes section. How thoughtful. I can never write in this. I mean, let's be honest. I can never do it. but maybe other people can who are not so type A. I noticed the Fool did not have a note section. Did you notice that, guys? Let's skip to the Minor Arcana. I'm going to just skip to my favorite card, one of my favorite cards, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity and abundance come in many forms. You have everything you need and most of what you want. Life is full of gifts if you open up your heart and spirit to them. I really like that. Obviously, you can see the artwork in here, and it's set up the same way as the Major Arcana. The only difference is there are no notes. So that is that for the cards. Here in chapter 4, this is the conclusion. And I was wondering if we were going to be getting any of this. This is going into the different types of spreads you can do. It's very interesting that it's in the back and not in the front, but I'm glad that she did add this in. So that was the one card. Here's 3 cards, the Celtic Cross, and then it lays out the details of the Celtic Cross. And here is officially the conclusion. So you'll have to let me know, guys, what did you think of this book? And let's go into the cards. The cards came wrapped in this cellophane, so let me get this open. All right, here we go. The back of the cards incorporate everything that summarizes this deck, really. We have the witch's hat, the witch's broom, and the cat, which a cat or more cats show up in every single card. Let's flip this over and get into the flip through. look at some cards that I thought were interesting. There were plenty of cards that I thought were really cool, but I really enjoyed these two stood out to me. One for good reasons, one for bad reasons. So I have a huge pet peeve when Wicca kind of sneaks its way into witchcraft. I know a lot of people will relate to this probably in a better way than I do. But if you notice, this is the sun, and then you have what sort of represents the triple goddess dancing under the sun. I don't mean this in any bad way. I just think that it perpetuates a lot of the Wicca is witchcraft type thing that goes on in society. So I just kind of dislike this card, which is unfortunate because the sun card's, you know, one of the most positive cards in tarot. But I did just want to point that out. Meanwhile, what I really like about this card is in traditional Rider-Waite, you can see the person pulling the lion's mouth open, but instead there is a cooperation that's happening between the two. There's an ease that's going on between them, and I think that is true strength, right? It's not the gladiators fighting the lions to prove their strength. It's the having the trust of an animal that could overpower you and having the confidence to walk beside it, which I just think is really cool. Also, I have a weird interest in tornadoes, so I think this card is really cool. It's probably one of my favorite in the deck. Let's talk a little bit more about the cards. They are actually a really good size. There's a mini version of this deck, which makes me think they must be tiny. The cards have a high sheen, high gloss there happening. You can see that on both sides. Both the front and the back have a high gloss. It makes the cards very slippery, so if you don't like that, you probably won't like the finish, but having high gloss means it fans like a dream. The thickness of the cards, I would say, are on the low side. Kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones tarot, which means I'm a little put off by it because the Game of Thrones tarot is a lot cheaper than this deck. Reminder, this is traditionally a $32 deck. So I'm kind of not a fan of that. I think it will hold a bend after a lot of rifle shuffling, but let's test that out. I will say the deck is so much easier for me to hold. It does bend well for a nice shuffle. Whew. But as I mentioned, cards are very slippery. I assume after some use they'll kind of like figure themselves out. But yeah, the cards are quite slippery. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy them. All right, everyone, these were all the cards. Let me know what you guys thought. What were your favorite cards? What were your least favorite cards? You already saw mine, so comment below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like. Make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye, guys.